one's asking why. The world keeps spinning, no one seems to care. Lost in the noise, a silent prayer. Does anyone out there even hear the cry? I'm just a voice in the wind, but I'll keep on screaming, 'cause someone's missing. I won't stop dreaming.
Hi, Kline. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Did you share this to your side too?
I'm doing it exactly right now as we speak. Okay,
Okay.
there we go.
All right. I just want to make
Uh,
sure that you got to do it on your side too. Well, welcome everyone.
okay,
This is Kline from Missing Black People the Forgotten. Um, what I did, Kline, is I guess we'll go ahead and greet. I don't know if you have anybody over on your side you want to greet. We'll greet our chat and then we'll get started.
okay,
I'll
fine.
let you go first.
Let me go in the chat. Okay, so what I go to the comments?
Yep,
Okay,
yep,
hey, okay, hey, Kaylee, how you doing? There's Arctic there.
yep.
Okay, Paula, hey, Paula, nice to see you. Doodlebugs in here. Dexter, hey, hey, Lisa, what's going on?
Lisa Joe.
Yeah, Lisa
All
Joe.
right. Okay. Well, what I don't know how you really want to do this, but I made that one video, but could you explain kind of how she kind of lit the fire for you? And then we'll go ahead after that and explain.
Okay, so Reese's been missing for 19 years. She went missing January 21st, 2006. When I was growing up, and like I was like, when I was growing up, I wanted to get into some kind of crime, some type of crime thing, but I wasn't really sure it was gonna be missing persons. But after a while, I started seeing her picture float. The first time I seen it was in a news journal. It was like a little 3x5 portrait, and I'm thinking to myself, who's gonna see this? Because in our paper, we had like a local section where all the crime news would happen. Okay, so I said, one day if I had started, it would be with Risha. It just so happens that I started a missing persons page, missing black people's page, and she was the reason why I started this page. Because, like I said, I will always see her face everywhere. Like her face has stuck with me, and the fact that it's been 19 years and nobody has said anything, or you don't read anything about her, And I also too, I know a lot of times the family involvement is a key too. Nobody has really, spoke out or anything like that. I don't know why, but
No one in the family has tried to like hang flyers or try to get help, bring awareness.
I think they may have, but it may not been on. Like I know her sister printed some flyers and stuff like that. Like we spoke in the past, but like as of recently and all that, I haven't been able to get a hold of her. And her daughter was online, but I'm not sure. And the thing of it is, with her daughter is like she was 2 years old at the time, so she doesn't remember her mom. And her exact words to me were, "I'm not ready for somebody to tell me that my mom's deceased." You know what I mean? So
Right. Oh.
I can kind of feel where she's coming from.
Yeah, and that's a lot. I'm glad you said that because a lot of times people don't put themselves in the position of the parent or the family member. It doesn't have to be a parent. It could be a sister. The fight's still there and the wondering. So I completely get that.
Right. But but besides that, she is the catalyst for the page. And then we had another lady, Nefertiri, that went missing. And there's a person on my page who is cousins to both Risha and Nefertiri.
Oh wow. That's so
So
sad though.
and they got and when I did start the page, I posted them back to back. They were like the first two stories on missing black people.
Oh.
And Risha's case just never left me. It's just how we all got cases we may call case our pet case.
Oh yeah,
This is
because it
one. This
touches
is
our heart.
Yeah, this is the one that's close because one is in the town of you know, she's from Delaware. She's from Newcastle, Delaware, and
Mhm.
this happened in Elkton. And I just think that this should have been solved by now. I think this should have been solved like probably the first month because there were so many
Right.
signs there that people ignored.
Well, I know looking at your page and you were talking about how she kinda lit your fire is why I made this video, because I want everyone to be aware of the difference, and I know that some people are gonna be offended, and I really don't care because there is such thing as missing white woman syndrome. There it is. It's like, it's too much, and this crap has to stop. So, Klein, do you mind if I go ahead and play that video, and then you can kind of explain and back that up and, kind of explain the difference, if you will? Is that
Yes.
okay? I'll go ahead and play that then.
In a world where shadows rise, a whisper cuts the night. There's a fierce heart beating.
A crisis unseen, missing in America. The United States faces a harrowing crisis, a silent epidemic of missing persons often forgotten and overlooked. This issue, though pervasive, rarely garners the attention it desperately needs. Every year, hundreds of thousands of individuals vanish, their absences creating ripples of grief and confusion that spread through communities, leaving behind shattered families and unanswered questions. The pain of not knowing what happened to a loved one is a unique and harrowing form of suffering. While every missing person's case is a tragedy, the collective impact is even more profound. A disturbing pattern emerges, one that exposes a deeply rooted societal issue. This pattern reveals systemic flaws and biases that need urgent addressing. Black individuals, particularly black women and girls, disappear at alarmingly disproportionate rates, highlighting a grave injustice. Their case is often met with indifference and neglect. This neglect is not just a failure of the system, but a reflection of societal biases. This essay delves into the crisis of missing black people in America, aiming to bring much-needed attention to this critical issue, shedding light on the systemic issues that perpetuate their plight and the urgent need for change. The voices of those affected must be amplified. The disappearance of a loved one is a nightmare no one should endure. It leaves a void that is impossible to fill. Families are left in agonizing limbo, their lives forever changed by the uncertainty and fear, clinging to hope while grappling with unimaginable pain. The emotional toll is immense and often overlooked, yet the reality is that not all missing persons cases are treated equally. This inequality is a stark reminder of the biases that permeate our society. This disparity is glaringly evident in the experiences of black families searching for their loved ones. Their struggles are compounded by systemic neglect. They often face an uphill battle against a system that seems indifferent to their plight, a system that fails to provide the support they need, their cries for help lost in a sea of silence. This silence is deafening and must be broken. The issue of missing black people in America is not new. It is a long-standing problem that has been ignored for far too long. It has persisted for decades, fueled by a complex web of factors. These factors include systemic racism, economic inequality, and social neglect. Systemic racism, implicit bias, and socioeconomic disparities converge to create an environment where black individuals are more vulnerable to becoming victims of crime, and their disappearances are less likely to be investigated thoroughly or receive adequate media attention. This lack of attention perpetuates the cycle of neglect. Addressing this issue requires acknowledging these deeply rooted problems and taking concrete steps to address them, and actively working to dismantle the systems that perpetuate inequality. This involves policy changes, community support, and media accountability. The stories of missing black individuals often remain untold, their faces absent from the evening news and their names seldom spoken in national conversations. This invisibility is a form of erasure. This lack of visibility contributes to a vicious cycle of indifference, making it easier for society to ignore the plight of these missing individuals and their families. The time for change is now. It is time to break the silence and demand justice for those who have vanished without a trace. Only through collective action can we hope to address this crisis. The silent epidemic, a disproportionate reality. The numbers paint a stark and unsettling picture, revealing a crisis that often goes unnoticed. While black people make up approximately 13% of the U.S. population, they represent a disproportionately high percentage of missing persons cases, a fact that demands our attention. According to the FBI's National Crime Information Center, NCIC, in 2024, black people accounted for nearly 40% of all missing persons reports, a staggering statistic. This disparity is even more pronounced among black women and girls, who are reported missing at rates far exceeding their representation in the population, highlighting a critical issue. These statistics are not mere numbers. They tell a story of loss and heartbreak. They represent real lives lost, families torn apart, and communities forever changed by the absence of their loved ones, leaving a void that can never be filled. The disproportionate number of missing black individuals is a clear indication that systemic issues are at play, demanding a deeper examination of the factors contributing to this alarming trend and a call for action. One contributing factor is the underreporting of missing persons cases in black communities. Distrust in law enforcement, fear of retaliation, and a lack of faith in the system to deliver justice often prevent individuals from reporting disappearances, perpetuating the cycle. Historical injustices and ongoing instances of police brutality and racial profiling have eroded trust between law enforcement and communities of color, creating a barrier to seeking help in times of crisis, further isolating those in need. The socioeconomic realities faced by many black communities also play a role in the high number of missing persons cases. Poverty, lack of access to resources, and exposure to violence can increase the risk of victimization, making these communities more vulnerable. Additionally, individuals struggling with homelessness or mental health issues may be more vulnerable to becoming missing, their disappearances often going unnoticed and unreported, adding to the silent epidemic. Systemic barriers, underreporting, and lack of resources. The lack of urgency and resources dedicated to investigating cases of missing black individuals is a glaring example of systemic bias within the criminal justice system. This bias is not just a matter of oversight but a deeply ingrained issue that affects the very fabric of how justice is administered. Law enforcement agencies often prioritize cases involving white victims, while cases involving black victims are often met with indifference, delays, and a lack of follow-through. This neglect can lead to critical evidence being overlooked or lost. This disparity in treatment perpetuates the cycle of injustice, leaving black families feeling unheard, unsupported, and desperate for answers. The emotional toll on these families is immeasurable, as they struggle to find closure. Implicit bias, whether conscious or unconscious, can influence the way cases are handled from the initial missing person report to the allocation of investigative resources. This bias can manifest in subtle ways, such as the tone of questioning or the level of effort put into following leads. Stereotypes about black individuals, particularly black women and girls, can lead to assumptions about their lifestyle choices or involvement in criminal activity, minimizing the perceived urgency of their cases and hindering investigations. These harmful stereotypes can cloud judgment and lead to a lack of empathy and action. The missing white woman syndrome is a stark example of this bias. This term, coined by journalist Gwen Ifill, describes the media's tendency to disproportionately cover cases of missing white women, often young and attractive, while cases involving people of color receive significantly less attention. This skewed media coverage can influence public perception and pressure on law enforcement. This disparity in media coverage reinforces the perception that certain lives are more valuable than others, and perpetuates the cycle of indifference towards missing black individuals. The lack of media attention can result in fewer resources and less public support for these cases. The lack of resources dedicated to investigating these cases further exacerbates the problem. Understaffed police departments, limited access to forensic technology, and inadequate training on cultural sensitivity all contribute to the challenges of solving cases of missing black individuals. These systemic issues require comprehensive reforms to address effectively. This lack of investment sends a clear message that these lives are not valued, their disappearances not deemed worthy of the same level of attention and resources as their white counterparts. The media's blind spot. Where are the headlines? The media plays a crucial role in shaping public perception and influencing law enforcement priorities. When a missing persons case receives widespread media coverage, it increases public awareness, generates leads, and puts pressure on authorities to allocate resources to the investigation. However, as mentioned earlier, the media often fails to afford the same level of attention to cases involving black victims, further marginalizing these individuals and their families. The reasons behind this disparity in media coverage are complex and multifaceted. Some argue that it stems from unconscious bias among news producers and editors, who may subconsciously gravitate towards stories that resonate with their own experiences and worldview. Others point to the influence of societal beauty standards, which often favor Eurocentric features, leading to the overrepresentation of white victims in media narratives. The consequences of this media blind spot are far-reaching. The lack of coverage not only deprives families of valuable exposure for their loved one's case, but also reinforces harmful stereotypes and perpetuates the dehumanization of black victims. Without the public's attention, these cases fade into the background. becoming just another statistic in a system that has failed them. Breaking through this media blackout requires a concerted effort to challenge existing biases and amplify the voices of those who have been silenced. Journalists have a responsibility to examine their own biases and actively seek out stories that challenge the status quo. Newsrooms must prioritize diversity in both their staffing and their coverage to ensure that all missing persons cases receive the attention they deserve. Amidst the challenges and uncertainties, a glimmer of hope emerged. It was a moment that reminded everyone of the resilience and strength within. Small acts of kindness began to ripple through the community, fostering a sense of unity and purpose. People started to believe that together they could overcome any obstacle. This newfound hope became a beacon, guiding them through the darkest times and illuminating the path forward. Advocacy and awareness are crucial components in addressing the issue of missing persons. By raising public awareness, we can ensure that more eyes are on the lookout, increasing the chances of finding those who are missing. Community involvement and media coverage play significant roles in keeping these cases in the public eye. It's about making sure that no one is forgotten and that every effort is made to bring them home. The current systems in place often fall short when it comes to handling missing persons cases. There is a clear need for systemic change to ensure better coordination between law enforcement, social services, and the community. Policies must be updated to reflect the urgency and importance of these cases. By advocating for these changes, we can create a more effective and compassionate response to missing persons. Solving the issue of missing persons requires collaboration from all sectors of society. Law enforcement, nonprofits, community groups, and individual citizens all have roles to play. By working together, sharing information, and supporting each other, we can develop comprehensive strategies that address both prevention and recovery. It's through collective effort that we can make a real difference. Ensuring that every missing person counts means recognizing the value of each individual and the impact of their absence on families and communities. It's about maintaining hope and continuing the search, no matter how much time has passed. Every case deserves attention, and every person deserves to be found. By committing to this principle, we uphold the dignity and worth of every human life.
Was that okay? Did that one sound okay?
Yes. Yeah,
All right,
yeah, that was a
good.
good video. That was a
I
very
was a
good
little
video.
nervous.
No, you're good. You're good. No, I mean, because that basically what you said sums it up. And there are some cases where this has happened. Like off the top of my head, I know two. December 15th, 1996, 12-year-old Selena Mays goes missing. There's barely anything in the headlines about this case, right?
Right.
A few
Well,
weeks
we went
later,
over her. We went over
yeah,
her.
a
Yep.
few weeks later, John Benet Ramsey goes missing. It's
Oh,
everywhere.
and she got all the attention.
And also Alexis Patterson, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, May 3rd, 2002. Was it 2000? I want to be sure. What year did John Benet Ramsey go missing? Was
Oh
that
goodness.
2000?
We have so many, Klein, I couldn't tell you. We have so
I
many,
think
but
okay, no, I believe it's 2002. But May 3rd,
okay.
2002, she went missing, and then John Benet Ramsey with everything happened with her. That was like
Yeah.
everywhere. Even 20 years later, John Benet Ramsey is still everywhere.
Yep. I
I
agree.
mean, and I think also too, like you said, like this video says, the media plays a very important role in that. A lot of times, which is unfair, it really be for ratings. You got to think if they put a white girl out there that she's missing, that's going to grab more headlines
That's
than
not okay though. That's just not okay. That's where
exactly.
it's like I always say that compassion over clicks. If you are just going to do something for views and put the spotlight on yourself, then maybe your dirtbag rear end should go maybe find something. Maybe you should be a reporter. Enough's enough of
Right.
that. It's too much.
It is, and that's where my page kept coming. I got tired of seeing cases like Selena Mays, Sierra Thomas, um, the Millbrook twins,
Oh,
35
that's
years. You
another sad
barely
one.
hear about the
Yeah.
Millbrook twins. All these different cases. My page, I started my page, like I said, based off Risha. Risha's the main focus, but she's in the long list of black females, black people that have been forgotten.
And see,
That's why
that's
our
so
town.
unfair. That's not right. What makes her any different than any other white woman that went missing? Nothing. Nothing. Every
Nothing.
person
And
should be looked at as a person. This is ridiculous. This is 2025 and we're still doing this. Come on.
yes, we
Enough's
are.
enough.
And I don't see no sign of it slowing down. But
Me either,
if I
unfortunately.
can, but on my end, I'm going to do my part to keep on
Mhm.
promoting
Right.
the. I get a lot of hate, but you know what? I don't care because I'm doing what's right. I'm doing what's in my heart. Everything comes from the heart. When I talk to these families about their missing loved ones, I'm coming straight from the heart. I'm not doing
That's
nothing for
great.
views or nothing like that. I'm not doing nothing to
Right.
get paid. If I was doing anything that I've been doing it for 10 years. If I was doing anything for that, I would have done that 10 years ago.
Right.
I'm in
Right.
it to genuinely.
Mhm,
I'm in
mhm.
it to help find some answers in these cases. Like the other night, I did the Clishendra Hall case with me and her mother. Did the podcast, and 31 years. This 31 years next month on May 9th, 1994. She went missing. There has been no trace of her. Nobody hardly talks about that case. So every
See,
year we get together and we're going to talk. And I I keep in contact with her mom daily too. So, but I told her every year and a couple of times a year I post Clichenna. We're going to talk and we're going to do a podcast until she finds some answers because I've done a lot of podcasts, but I've had the first time where a mom actually told me that her fear was that she'll pass away and her husband, and she won't know what happened to her daughter. So I'm trying
oh,
to do as much as I can to do my part. That struck a nerve with me. So
right.
this
Oh.
is one of the many cases that'll be with me forever.
Sure, and the fact that this one kinda lit the fire underneath you, it's almost like it could be, just your heart. Your heart feels that, and that lit your fire, and now look at you, and how many followers do you have on Facebook now? I have to brag because 'cause I'm so proud of you.
We're almost at 72,000 followers.
72,000 followers. How amazing is that?
It was a lot. It
Congratulations.
was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. 10 years of it,
Oh, I bet, and a
but
lot of heartache because it's
yeah,
hard. You get close to these families, they become your family.
they do. And I think one of the worst parts I say that is when you're advocating for somebody to be found safe and then they're found deceased. So you have the good, you have the bad, and then you have the in between where there some people don't want to be found, some people are found deceased, and then some people are found safe.
Right, right, but it's
So
always that you feel it. I mean, when they are found deceased, you gotta just take a minute, as if it was your own family member because you
it does,
these
especially when you're
missing
talking,
people. Yeah, I'm
especially
like you, it's
especially
like
when you're
these
talking to the
missing people.
families. The families, oh my God, people ask me
Yep,
all the time how do I do it.
yep.
I just I talk to them as if I know because I've had friends missing that turned up deceased. I had people killed in my life. My other page unsolved is the catalyst for me because I had two younger brothers killed.
Oh, you have
4 years.
another page. I didn't know you had
Yeah.
another page.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
it's called Unsolved. It's on Facebook
okay.
too. That's at 50,000 followers. But I started missing back and forth. Then I started Unsolved because one of my brothers got killed, and then four
Well,
and a half
look
years
at
later.
you. You're just rocking these streets, aren't you? You're just fighting for everybody. Aw.
Yeah, I'm trying. I mean, I always heard if you're not part of the solution, then you're part of the problem. That's always stuck with me. And coming where I'm from, there was a lot of violence over the years that because I'm in like I'm in the city of Wilmington, so that's like the main part of Delaware. You have different parts of it, but Wilmington is the city where most everything goes on. So I've seen a lot of
Oh,
stuff
so
go.
that's like a bad area. I'm sorry. I live in Missouri, so I'm not for sure.
Anywhere you live at, you have certain areas. You can go to be Philly, and I know a lot of stuff happens in Philly, but depending on where you go at, you won't have too much violence. So it's different areas. Wilmington can actually be nice, some areas, but you know how it is. The inner city, the hoods, stuff goes stuff goes
Oh, yeah,
on.
I live near St. Louis, so I completely get it. You have a place you can go and places you know not to go.
Exactly, exactly. But yeah, back to Risha. She went missing 19 years ago on January 21st, 2006. Dude, are you ready to discuss her now?
Yeah, yeah, I'm ready when you are.
Okay.
I even pulled up an article. I didn't know how much like you wanted to explain because I know you're
Mhm.
so close to it, but I did pull up an article. If you want me to read it, I can, or we can
Go
just
ahead.
discuss. Okay, let me pull this up real quick. That way you don't have to try to explain because I know your heart is in it, and sometimes that really can take over. For me, it does. So sometimes reading it's a little easier.
Okay. That's good.
All right, let's see. I hope you guys can see this. Let me know if you can see it. Might take a second because we have storms.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Different parts. I heard.
Okay, so you guys can see that? Everything okay then you can see? Okay. All right, then I'll go ahead and start reading it. Okay, so here she is. She's so pretty, Klein. Look how pretty she is. My goodness.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. And up here it says the disappearance of Risha Lewis. Risha Risha Alina Lewis, nickname Rish. She was 26 years old at the time of her disappearance. Last seen January 21st, 2006. This says location Elkton, Maryland. Is that right?
You, that's correct.
Okay. It says still missing. It says
Yes.
26-year-old Risha Lewis was last seen in Elkton, Maryland on January 21st, 2006. She disappeared on her way back home to Newcastle, Delaware. And her background is she was born on August 9th, 1979. At that time of her disappearance, Risha was living at the 400th block of Morehouse Drive in Newcastle, Delaware. She frequently visited Elkton, Maryland on weekends. Oh,
Yes.
look, this must be a little bit younger picture of when she's so pretty. On January 20th, 2006, Risha Lewis left her home on the 400th block of Morehouse Drive in Newcastle, Delaware to visit a friend in Elkton, Maryland. Around 1:30 a.m. on January 21st, Risha called home from her friend's house on the 200th block of West Pulaski. Is it Pulaski?
Yeah. Pulaski. Yeah. Pulaski Highway.
Pulaski, Pulaski Highway to say she was headed back home. It says Risha never arrived back home and hasn't been heard from since. Risha's cell phone remains activated, but has not been used since she went missing. Oh, that's not good either, is it?
Now to remain activated, I'm gonna
Mhm.
clear that up. And remain
Okay.
activated for almost 90 days. So that means somebody kept that
Uh,
cell phone on, and I can guarantee you that cell phone was never traced. Cause you got to
really?
think this is 2001, so we're in the internet stage. So I mean, we're in that stage where that cell phone could have been traced. But I honestly don't think nothing has happened because you see her posted on the cold case websites and all that, but you never hear them talk about her case. They said it's an active case, but I haven't seen anything to the contrary. Now
Have,
I'm gonna give you a story. The night that she went
okay.
missing, right?
Hmm.
They got a call about a homicide at a hotel down there. Forget
Oh,
what now. This is what I'm gonna tell you. Now I'm not sure of this, but there's always been rumors that she was down there selling drugs. How true I don't know. They say that played a lot. They say that played a part in her disappearance. But like I said, she also had a friend down there that she used to visit. But the night at that hotel, they said they got a homicide, and when they got there, they didn't um they didn't find anybody. This is all in the paper too. When she went missing, it says search intensifies for woman after they put that homicide article out. Those two are tied together, and I think
wow.
another reason why her case started slowing down because the jurisdictions. Newcastle was claiming it, and then Elkton was claiming, or Elkton was saying it was Newcastle. So that hung it up a lot.
Ah,
But yeah, she's been missing since that night, and I can guarantee you, if not most, a lot of people in Elkton know what happened to her. Many of the times I posted people's story, posted Risha's story, and people comment like everybody knows the story about her. So it's not a secret.
right, right.
She was in Forest Creek. I'm gonna put it to you like this: you can't
Okay.
go to Forest Creek by yourself. You better go when you go
Oh,
out to Forest Creek. you better go out there with a lot of people. Okay, you better go out there for
Okay.
protection, because that's not
Okay.
one of the places where you can just walk up on or walk through. They're gonna
Okay.
look at you crazy before they ask you who you are.
Right. Yeah. I've been places like that. I get it.
Yeah, Forest Creek. I'm putting you like this. Forest Creek ain't for the for a black person. Honestly, to tell you the truth, that place is.
Oh.
It's been so many stories about that place, and before people have been found dead down there. I don't know what it is about the southern states going like to Maryland and all that. A
Yeah.
lot of times when you have people missing, they will always find their bodies buried somewhere.
Yeah. Right. Right. Somewhere.
And I've seen a lot of cases like that where, I mean, we got a couple people now missing from Delaware, and I can guarantee you that later on when something's being digged up, their remains will be unearthed. This is why I think a lot of these cold cases and stuff are starting to be solved, because places where they never would have thought they'd dig in or stuff like, or putting businesses at, they're digging up, and now phones and remains are being found, and a lot of that's happening, and I've seen that on Facebook lately, where they've been finding remains after remains after remains. I mean,
Right. Right.
it's a good thing because it's gonna bring closure to a lot of families, but it's also a sad thing because people have been missing for
Every
years.
family. Yeah, and every family, every time remains are found, a family's thinking, "Oh no, is it ours?"
Yes, yes, and recently we had that down here. Um, Centoria Griffin went missing almost 2 years ago. We searched in Wilmington for her, and there was supposed to be a search in Newark. From what I understand, it is where they just found this her remains at in Newark probably a couple weeks ago. They had asked to search that,
Yeah.
but because it was private property, they told them no.
Oh
Now,
no.
fast
Really?
forward
Now
two,
wait a minute.
fast forward, yes,
That's shady alone.
fast forward 2 years later, she's found in that spot where it was, where she was, what I
Oh
just said at
man.
Newark. Yes.
Are they investigating the property owner? No, probably not,
Oh,
right?
probably not, because she was in the early stages of dementia,
Oh, okay.
and I think that
Okay.
might have played a part. I think she might have fell or something, and couldn't
Oh,
you know
God love her. Oh.
yes, yeah. So Terry Griffin, I've been posting her for the last 2 years. You didn't, and Wilmington police did not look for her at all, nothing. Only thing they put out is little bulletins.
Is
This is
there a
a
reason for that? Do you think
I don't
it's
know.
because you don't know?
She didn't
Okay.
she didn't run off, and we have another lady that's older like her that they're not looking for. So it
Oh,
it
man.
ties it ties
Yeah,
back
they're
in
not I mean,
to
not dang.
it
That's
ties
so
back into what we're
heartbreaking.
talking
I
about
mean,
now.
yeah, right, exactly. But if that was an old white woman out there, you think they look for her? Because I do.
Oh, best believe, because they're still trying to figure out who murdered the Susan can't say my name, but her name has stayed in the headlines, and she
Yeah.
got murdered and
Yeah.
found in Brandywine, and her husband, they couldn't find no evidence on him, but last year he got arrested for abusing his new wife.
Yeah. Right, right. But they investigated
That
that.
case, yes, that case has stayed in the headlines.
See, that
Centurias and Camellia Tubby Smith that's missing from Wilmington. You
right?
don't hear. Only reason why you're going to hear about them is on my page, or if somebody or other pages or cover them. That's when you'll hear about them. Other than that, you won't hear about them. And I post them daily
Well, they will
because
now because 'cause we're gonna do this on Wednesday.
yes, Wednesdays is
They
our
will now,
designated day
Klein, since
now.
we're doing this on
Yes,
Wednesday. Yeah, yep.
yes.
We need to bring light to this because chat I mean, anyone listening, you have to understand this very well could be you, I, could be Klein, could be any of us, could be our children, our grandchildren. We don't know. You never know. You don't.
And I want to say this to everybody: if I don't call nobody back, you can't get a hold of me in a day, because I'm most likely, talk to everybody every day. I didn't walk away, and please look for me.
Don't you worry, we will. Ask us.
Yes,
Well,
yes,
listen, we you have quite a team looking for you. I can guarantee it.
yes. I just want going forward. I want more focus. I want the focus to be on everybody. It shouldn't just be
Exactly.
on one person. It shouldn't be just on black person. It shouldn't just be on Chinese, Asians.
That's right.
That's another different nationality that don't get indigenous women don't get posted enough.
Right, I was getting ready to say that indigenous are the same way. It's like,
Yeah, yeah, indigenous women don't get posted the same way. So it
no,
has to be a fine line where everybody gets time because everybody can share the spotlight.
right. Well, yeah, everyone is human. I mean, really,
Every,
when you're
every
every
they
person
could
matters.
right. They could do a segment on the news like every Wednesday where they detail missing persons cases where they show people are missing. A
Right.
small gesture can go a long way with helping out families because
That's
there
right.
might be somebody who saw something or somebody who knows something. We shouldn't have
Right.
to families shouldn't have to wait 20 and 30 and 40 years to get justice.
Um,
And that's what's
or
been
have to
happening.
investigate their own loved one's disappearance. That's something I just don't understand. Why should a family have to do an officer's job?
Honestly, to tell
No
you the
family
truth,
should have to set up a search. No family should
that
have to investigate their own family.
but you know what though? I commend those families that do that because you know why? They
Oh
recognize
yeah.
early on that they're not going to get the help right away that the police, especially when it's because a lot of times they tend to label blacks as runaways. They can have good
Mhm.
jobs and oh, did they leave? And the evidence can show that something happened, but they still think that they left. Now,
And
there have been people who ran and so forth, but not every black person is a runaway. You know what I mean? So
exactly. And even if they are a runaway, now that's even more dangerous because a predator could see that vulnerability of that runaway, and then that's it. That's scary
yes,
too.
the 14-year-old in Chicago, she was beaten and found strangled in a vacant house. She ran
Oh,
away
I
from one of the
know.
group
Oh
homes.
god, that one. Yeah, that one really got me. Yes. Yeah, that one
Yeah, me
that one's
too. When I saw it and
so
I saw her picture
heartbreaking.
today, I'm like, oh my god, what's going on? Like, and
Yep.
I've talked to somebody today, and it was my grandmother. She said we didn't have it this in our time. I said yes, you did. You just weren't around it. Serial killers, murderers, they've all been around us. And back in the
Yeah, and
day,
and
it
your
was so
grandma well, your grandma's
she
probably like how mine was, where it was like, "Oh, no, it doesn't happen in our town," but it does.
it
They
does.
just didn't see it because they didn't have internet and all of this publicity for other people.
Yes, that's why the internet is a gift and a curse because it's bringing more light to the cases. And lately, what I've been doing is I've been reaching out to a lot of families. So you're going to start seeing a lot of these cold cases that you've been reading on my page. You're going to start seeing me sitting down with families and discussing these cases. Some cases have
That's
been
amazing.
you haven't heard about some cases probably in 10 and 15 years. Well, a lot of those cases I'm going to bring to light along with other
Good, good.
creators like you and the different channels like Arctic. We got
Yes.
different ones out there.
Mind of
They're
Monsters. Mhm.
yeah, Mind the Monsters. I can't name them all, but yeah, they're
Yeah,
we're
there's a
all coming
lot.
together. Yeah, it's a lot. There's no competition in this. The more coverage, the better.
That's right.
And I
There's
plead
no competition when you're doing the right thing.
right. It shouldn't be anyway.
No,
I
if you're serious about getting the missing out, then you don't mind if 52 other people take on the case that you just covered after you cover it, because that's more views on that person missing and not worried about that paycheck and how many clicks, views, and cash apps and all that crap you can get in one thing, and just focus on the person and their family.
yes. If you're out there accepting anything that stuff, whatever, I don't say, hey, you need to put everything back, but sometimes, put something back into the mission and help out with these families.
Sure, sure. Oh, absolutely. And I'm not saying that being monetized is bad. Several of these channels are monetized and they put that money right back in that channel and they help families. And I admire that. I really do. It's just
I
the
think
ones that just want to play certain ones to get clicks and views. That's trash to me. I won't have any part of that. I'm done. I can't be a part of that.
right, right. But going back to Risha, her
Hmm.
case, like I said, you don't hear about nothing in Delaware. I've even reached out to state representatives to try to get her case out there. I
Mhm.
messaged one probably 2 years ago, and we had worked before on police reform. Like we had a little Zoom call and everything. So when
Yeah.
I came into the missing, she asked me what could we do. I sent her a reply, what could we do, and I've been on Reddit for the last 2 years.
Oh, no.
Yes, I've been on Reddit.
Mm.
So that's why I said like I wanted to not just post the missing, but I wanted to do different things. I wanted to do coverage on. I wanted to do videos, and I hope this year that I can throw an event in my city that's dedicated to the missing and put focus on these cases that people don't know about. And a lot of times cases in your city, people from your city don't even know anything about these cases.
Right. You're right. Yeah.
There's so many. I posted a case from Maryland the other day. This lady said, "I live 25 minutes over here, and I've never heard of this." That's the scary part. If you've been living somewhere for so long and you ain't never heard of a certain case, that's scary because that really goes to show that you don't really know what's going on around you.
Yeah,
And
and
that has
that's
happened.
dangerous for her.
That has
That's very
happened.
dangerous.
That has happened to me before too. I never knew something happened here, and then later on I found out it did. But because majority of stuff that happens here, I know because I used to always read the paper from
Mhm.
like 8 years old up. I would grab that morning paper
I
and
did
read,
too.
go straight to the local section and read about the crime.
Mhm. Yep.
So
And we also see that in towns like for me, like I told you before, I live near St. Louis. So many are missing from St. Louis, but because you hear of so much crime in that area, the missing gets thrown to the side because they're too concerned about letting everyone know how many have lost their life in shootings or whatever. And if it's a crime area, it's like those people don't matter. The good people, I mean, they do matter. What about the good people in these communities that are trying to help others? And it's
yeah,
just so messed up. We have such a broken justice system. We really do.
yeah, we definitely do. Um, I don't see it being fixed anytime, but it's gonna start with social media. I think social
Right.
media is taking over. Social media is taking over a lot of things, and
It
it's a
has,
good thing.
it has. And it
It's a
can be
good
good
thing.
and bad, but this right here, what we do, I feel like is the best use of internet that we could possibly do. Instead of hurting people, we build up, we don't break down. We have compassion for these families, and some of these families just want to be heard. They just want someone to listen. And that's so sad they have to beg for that. That's heartbreaking.
That is because I've seen some of these families on the news, and I even now when I hit when I message families, they're like, "Well, what can you do to help us? We haven't had help. Nobody has done this." The case, the last podcast that you watched with Joanne Joanne
Yes.
Marie
Oh,
Rumford,
well, I
yeah,
tell you what,
that
that was
case,
a heartbreaker.
yes, that is a heartbreaker. That case right there, you should hear about. That is the oldest missing persons case in the state of Minnesota, and
Yes,
nobody knows about that case.
and I didn't. I had never heard of it, but I'll tell you what, that's one strong daughter of hers.
It
Well, I mean,
is. She's
it was amazing. She was so strong, and I was like, "Wow, that is one strong, powerful woman."
and like I said, you didn't hear about her case, and it
Nope.
brings you right back to Risha again.
Yep, yep.
I,
So do you
I
think
think
that a lot of this isn't only just color, it could also be the area and the crime activity where they think, "Oh, well, if so and so's had any kind of crime background, criminal
Mhm.
background, nah, let's just not focus." That's not okay.
Well, honestly, another case that I'm going to briefly mention her name, Dr. Cheryl Pearson, missing from Tennessee.
Yes.
That
Yep.
bothers me. That bothers me a lot, and we'll get to that discussion later on. But
Okay.
she, her background pediatrician, and it's been almost 20 years, and she's no, it's been more than 20 years, and she hasn't been found. No trace.
Hmm.
You don't hear about that case either.
No, and it makes
Again.
you wonder if the reason that we do, and this is just my opinion, but that makes me wonder now if someone high up in there that you get no coverage, whoever did this to them, if they did anything allegedly, who do they know in power to get this swept under the rug? It's kind of how I feel when things like that happen.
Right. Just like the Hispanic man, he went missing from Jersey. The cops dropped him off at the park. He was drunk. Instead of taking him home or locking him up, they dropped him off at the park. They have
Yeah,
not
and you
seen
know
this
where we
man
would
since.
be? In jail. We would be in
Eh,
jail.
yes. Now, if that was a black person, he would have been saved because he would have went to jail. Drunk.
Right? Oh,
But,
yeah,
yeah, they would probably lock him up.
definitely. You're
But
right.
like I said, it goes back to certain people getting coverage. So
Right.
that's something that definitely have to change. I'm going to do everything in my power
Right.
to
And we have
ensure
to.
that happen. And if it doesn't, I'll keep doing it on my side until I
Mhm.
able to put all these people on full display because these are the
Just
most
like
important ones. They're
just
the
like
most
mom
important.
always says, it takes a village, and it does. If we
It
wanna
does.
change, we have to stick together, and we have to keep on it. No matter what, we just need to stay on it, because if we don't, who's gonna do it?
That's right. You're right. You're right because you barely get an update from law enforcement on a missing persons case.
Right. Hardly ever, in different states. Now, I live in Missouri, so here, good luck getting transparency. They may put something out on a Facebook page, but good luck getting a press conference unless it involves some big wig or, somebody with lots of money. But a normal person, no, good luck.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Like you said, in some states where where you're rich, you're poor, and that can also sometimes play a part too in
Oh,
different
yeah.
things because I know we have that white woman's syndrome, but also too there are some poor white people whose cases never went anywhere either.
Right. I
So I may
agree.
point that out too. But
Yeah.
um,
Social status seems to be the only way you're found, or drama, and that's ridiculous. No family should have to cause a stir just to get attention. That's not all right. So could you kind of give us a story? She was on her way and she just never made
home,
it?
she never made it. Now she was supposed to go to Newark, but I don't think she made it out of Elkton. I don't think she made it out of Elkton. But what's conspicuous is whoever was there with her that night when she said she's on her way home, she had to tell them that she was going to Newark because 8 months later, I'm sorry, 9 months later, they found her car in Newark in an apartment complex.
It took that long to find her car. Are you still there? Oh, guys, bear with us. My internet might be messing up. It's storming. I apologize. Klein, are you still there? Can you guys hear me? Does it sound okay? Klein, are you there? I was wondering where you was at. You took off, fell out the window.
Yeah, my son had tried to call and I told him to call me back. Sometimes you tell people you're on hot.
Oh,
It's all right. He's okay. He's just trying to get some money. It's payday.
oh, your camera's on. Do you need to turn your camera off?
Yeah,
I just went
yeah, I
there
turned
you
it on.
go.
Yeah, my bad.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just
but
I hate that. I do that all the time, so I'm like, I always try to warn somebody.
yes. So now
Okay,
the
so they
car was
found
found.
her car there, but it took that long to find her car?
Yes. And years later, I found out
After
that
after they knew that's where she was headed? Mm.
they didn't search or look. They focused their search in Elkton.
Oh.
They first and they focused their search in Elkton, and years later I found out that it looked like there had been a disturbance in the car, like blood. This is what her sister told me. This is what the detective told her.
Okay.
Now that car, nothing's never been said about that car. I don't know if that car is still in the police impound or what. I'm pretty sure it's just a box on the shelf, Reese's case. But it's a lot of people
That's
involved.
terrible. Oh,
It's a lot of people involved who know what happened to her. When I tell you this case is a rabbit hole, it's a rabbit hole. It can be solved, but those closest to her must talk in order for this to be solved. And the person know who I'm talking to. They know exactly who I'm talking to right now.
okay,
This case, yeah,
okay.
this case need to be solved. It's a lot um behind the scenes that I really can't say because I don't want to jeopardize the case. But this case can be solved. It's not one of the cases where it can't be solved. Like I said, everybody down there in Elkton, well, not everybody,
So
the
when you say
majority,
involved,
Forest
are
Creek,
you getting
Forest Creek, that area right
I'm
there,
sorry,
they know what happened to this
are
girl.
you getting any help at all? Are you getting any help at all for searches?
Now, searches, I've talked to certain people.
I may have a lag, I'm sorry.
Okay, now,
Mhm.
certain people I've talked to, but again, going down in Forest Creek, it's going to be a battle because you don't know what you're going to get. And I wouldn't want to go down there unarmed. Like
Right,
I
for
would have to go
sure.
down there.
Yeah, 'cause your safety is most important.
Yes, everybody would have to be armed. You get what I'm saying? I don't mean to, chuckle off that, but that's the truth. People just
Oh,
don't
no,
go
I
in for a
understand.
creek.
There's several.
Now,
Yeah, there's certain places everywhere you don't go.
do I think they should search that area? Yes, they should. They really should.
Mhm.
I think they should search for a creek. Now exactly where? That's probably another battle because there's not a landmark where she could be. She could be anywhere in Forest Creek, but there's a rumor that she is by a tree and that a person sits by this
Oh,
tree all the time in Forest Creek. Like I said, it's just a rumor. I've heard so many over the years
oh.
about her. So, but I know some of the stuff is there is some truth to it. So we what I just don't know.
Well, and,
But
with every lie, there's a little truth. So, are there, like, so many rumors that you're just kinda don't know which direction to go to?
uh, again, it comes back to people speaking up. It
Okay,
comes back to people speaking up,
so
and
you think that people definitely know, they're just are they afraid to speak because of the area and their safety, or just because it is it more of like a "what happens here stays here, mind your own business" kinda deal?
she's afraid.
Okay, alright,
She's afraid. She's afraid. This person.
yeah.
I will say
Well, she
that.
has every reason to be. I mean, if you think
Well,
about it, that is very scary, look
yeah,
at what has happened.
yeah, it is. But I think I think she would be uh much safer than she is now. Times have totally changed. A lot of players have come and gone.
Okay,
It's just Elkton. People don't understand is we have certain areas. That Forest Creek area is a big known drug area. Like I said
okay.
before that, there was a case of a guy. He was buying from two young guys, and he ended up murdering them both at different times. The one guy's body they didn't find because he put it in the dumpster, and the other
Right.
guy's body they found buried by the creek. Remains
Oh my
left.
goodness. Oh!
That was
Oh,
a big
wow.
headline, when that happened down there. I didn't hear. It's crazy because, like I said, I read the paper a lot, but I really didn't hear about that case too much until I got older. So Far Creek has been dangerous. Well, I'm not sorry. That was just in Elkton. But the Elkton and the further from Delaware, from going down to further down Delaware and getting into Elkton in certain parts, it's a little rough in those areas. And Far Creek
Are
is
there
one
a
of them.
lot of people are there a lot of people missing in that area in Elkton?
I wouldn't say a lot, but there are some that haven't been missing for years. There's some that
Okay.
yeah, been missing for years.
Well, Klein, what can we do to help you as creators? What can we do to help you bring more awareness to these cases? I know sharing and stuff like that, but what else can we do to help anyone like that is scared or that needs to get their story out but is afraid to? Like what how could we help?
You know, I always ask myself that. How can I help? Because people
Mhm.
always. I mean, I think a lot of times people expect that. Yeah, you're gonna post and you might do a video on their loved one, and they always ask me how is that gonna help them, and I always tell them awareness is the best and the key to getting the
Right,
person's name out there. The
right,
sharing, the sharing that everybody's doing, and the covering the cases. That's what's going to help. Um,
right,
when you're talking to the families, assuring them that you're here to help, assuring them that you're going to do everything that you can in your power. Just
right,
I say honestly, how y'all can help is just continue to spread the awareness and just covering
right,
these cases and just just treat the cases how you would treat any other case. And
right.
I
And
appreciate that because
she is in MPIA. I showed you yesterday, but here's her
yeah, that's
flyer.
yeah, awesome flyer.
So if any of you see this flyer and it is on my community wall, and I will share it. I've shared it just about everywhere, but if you do see her flyer, please, please share it. Let's bring awareness to her because it feels like she's been tossed to the side, and that's heartbreaking to think that any person, I don't care what color you are, is tossed to the side, regardless. That's not. Let's have a little bit of humanity and a little bit more love and just share. It takes a second, just to share. But I thought that MPIA did such a wonderful job on her flyer. They did excellent. I kudos to them. They are amazing.
Yes, they did. They did a good job on the flyer.
Yep. And if we can get that out there and her face out there more, maybe people would feel a little bit more secure because at that point anyone could call in a tip because she is everywhere. Where right now there isn't any flyers everywhere. So they're automatically going to know one person said something. But if we get this worldwide, then maybe someone scared wouldn't be quite so scared because other people could do it too. Other people see it now. That's kind of my
Yes,
logic. I could be wrong, but it's an idea. It's an idea, right?
yes, and honestly, my goal is to go beyond social media. Maybe one day, if it works itself out, I could be on a news channel where I'm doing a segment on missing persons cases, and people
Yeah.
get to see get to see these broadcasts. I think honestly, like I said, we all deserve the same coverage, and I'm not going to stop until it's like that. I may have to fight tooth and nails for it to happen, but trust me, I
Right.
won't stop fighting until we're all created equal, and we should be, because nobody's better than anybody. Not no race is better
That's
than any
right.
other race. We
Yep.
were all created the same, and we all bleed the same. So we should all be treated the
That's
same.
right.
Every
And
case should
even
be
yeah, I agree.
yeah,
Even your social status, it doesn't matter how much money you have because guess what? You can't take it with you. So why is that any different than any other body? It's not. It's not.
it's not. She's right. There's no difference. There's no difference at all.
Nope. Nope. Not at all. So can you tell me like what else about her you know about her? Like did you know anything
She
like fun stuff she liked? Was she a joker?
she's
Was she
now she's originally from Salem, New Jersey.
okay?
Um, and she ended up moving here. I do know that both parents are deceased. They were deceased before she
Oh,
went. They were deceased before she went missing. Her
okay.
personally, I heard little stuff. I heard that she was a good person. She had two kids. Um, the children's father, the daughter that she left behind, he was
Mhm.
killed uh, after she went missing. Somebody shot him on the porch and
Oh.
he bled out through his leg.
Oh, oh
So,
my goodness, and so her were
yes.
her children there?
No, 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 because
Oh.
the son has a different father.
Oh, okay.
The,
Well, thank goodness
the son
they
has a
didn't
different father.
witness that. I mean, ugh.
Yeah, he was. I think he was killed. He was killed in the
Mm.
city, but at the time, I think
Oh,
he had custody of his daughter, I believe. But he was killed.
okay,
It was totally different scenarios. It had nothing to do with Risha. They weren't even together
okay.
at the time. But that happened.
Yeah, but how sad to lose your parents,
And I didn't
lose
hear
your
about
parents
that.
like that.
And I didn't hear about him dying until a couple years ago. And he's been dead for almost 20 years. I mean, almost 20 years because Risha's been missing for 19. Like I said, I didn't hear about
That's
that.
terrible.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that 2 years
Oh,
later. I had to, and the only reason why I heard about that because when I posted Risha, uh, his cousin reached out and told me and gave me a little background, and I ended up posting to him. And I'm like, wow. It just you never know who's connected in Delaware. Delaware is a small state, pretty much just like Wilmington. Wilmington, you're practically cousins with
uh-huh,
everybody. You know everybody.
uh-huh.
You go to one side of town, you're gonna know them. It's so small here.
Oh, I get it. I live in small towns. I'm from the country, so yeah, I get it. Everyone dies famous in a small town because
Yes,
everybody knows everybody's brothers, aunts, uncles, your business, your grandma. I know. Yeah.
and I want to bring up one more case. Damon Emery
Okay.
has been missing for 25 years from Delaware. Okay, now he
Okay.
went missing. It was only his family and a cop, right? Now
Uh-oh.
I believe a couple years later, Anne Marie Fahey goes missing. She's all over the place.
Oh.
You have not heard about Damon's case at all. Damon has been missing for it'll be 26 years this year, and I have posted Damon for years. I mean, I've been posting him for years. And a couple years ago,
Oh.
unfortunately, the son that he left behind that he never met, he ended up getting murdered. So I had to end up covering him on my unsolved page. So it's double heartbreak when the person's already missing and then one of their kids get killed, and that's what happened with Damon Emery. He has got no coverage at all. I mean, none.
That's
And I think it's
terrible. That
because
is
of
so sad.
his lifestyle that he lived, which shouldn't matter. But
No, it shouldn't.
he just has it. He's in the same boat as Risha. And another one, Jantel Johnson, 15 years old, missing from Newark, Delaware, going on 14 years. 15 and pregnant. You don't hear nothing about that
Oh.
case.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Another, like I said, it's these
Oh, my
Delaware cases
goodness.
like Anne-Marie Fahey came. And I think it's because of
Mhm.
Tom Campano's status that it was because he was a lawyer. But again,
Right.
nobody should be treated differently.
I agree. Completely
So
agree.
it's
Somewhere
all the way
down the
around the board.
line, people thought yeah, somewhere down the line, people got so stuck on clicks and views and how much money they could make that they have forgotten that these are human beings. I really pray that I am never like that because that to me is so cold. I mean, what makes people think that they couldn't be next? That they couldn't be the next missing person? Because every
Oh,
40
it's
seconds someone goes missing. What makes us think that we couldn't be the next 40 seconds? I mean,
oh
it
I
could
know it
happen.
could I know it could be me. I know it could be somebody in my
It
family.
could
That's
be any
why
of us. Any
I
of us.
pray. I pray all the time that
Yep.
God keeps me in His good. I stay in His good graces and and I stay blessed.
Yep, me too. That's what and
Because the worst part is not knowing.
yep, I've heard so many families say that. And you really once you have sat down with the family and you've laughed with them, you've cried with them, you've seen their pain, you hear their stories, it's heartbreaking.
Yes,
It just is.
Tika Lewis's story is heartbreaking too. 3 years old, snatched from the bowling alley in Tacoma,
Oh.
Washington. Recently, the police finally named a person of interest after 25 years. They went
That
back
is
to
so
interview him,
that is terrible.
and he OD'd.
Oh,
He did. And
he
they
OD'd
just,
after they interviewed him?
after 25 years, they're
Oh,
just saying his name.
Wow.
and she had to get that out of him. I'm in close contact with her mother, so she made a new page for Tika, and
Oh,
she just
good.
wants to know what she just wants to know what happened to her daughter.
Right.
That's another case that you should hear. It's so many cases that you just don't hear about, and that's
Well, I
you
mean,
know again
look at Marissa Carmichael.
I
It took her mother forever to get any kind of attention, and then now, finally she's got, like, Dateline and stuff like that, but look how long that's been, and how many people had
exactly
to bring awareness to that, or else she would have been another. I mean, that's so sad.
exactly. We did a podcast with her mother too, and that was a
Yeah.
tearjerker too.
Oh, Sarah is
5 kids. She has
yes,
five
and
kids.
Sarah she's another mother like we were speaking of that, she doesn't have long and she knows it, but she just wants to live long enough to bring her baby home, you know?
Yeah,
God love
I
her.
think
I
it's
pray
a
for her every day.
I think it's a good possibility that I would like to think positive. I think she could be out there. You know,
Trafficking, I think. Yep,
yeah, I think so too
I
because the
do.
whole circumstances and that's another case wasn't it was treated like she went off and she didn't go off. That
Right.
them 911 calls are very troubling.
Yes, and the 40 minutes it took for the officer that was right down the road to get to that station, that's very alarming also.
That's because you know why? That's because he probably sat there for a little bit and then decided to go
Yeah,
there. If you're right
right.
down the road, it doesn't take 40 minutes for you to get there.
Not
But
at all.
again, it goes back to what we're talking about today with Risha. I feel like
Right?
every time we go to another subject or somebody different, it comes right back to Risha's
It
case.
does. You're
Not enough
right.
coverage.
Yep, you're right. You're right.
Not enough coverage. But like I said, going forward, and like I'm gonna keep on doing what I do, keep on posting the missing, and keep getting their stories out there and doing my part. My part is a key role, just like everybody else's part with sharing the stories. We are
Right.
all in this together to help bring these people home, or at least help these families get some answers. Because again, nobody should go months, years, decades to find
Right.
out what happened to their missing.
Right, right. And anyone in chat, if you are not subscribed, please I shared the link in chat. Please consider subscribing to I'm sorry, to Kline's channel because it is amazing. It's called Missing Black People the Forgotten. And every like, every share, you never know if that share could be the one share that could bring her, at least her family, some kind of closure and hopefully some happiness. But if not, at least they know, and for them to say the hardest part is the not knowing, the least we could do is take a second to hit share. I mean, really.
And also, too, what I like to see in the future, I like to see a billboard of Risha put up in Elkton.
Oh, wouldn't that be amazing? Really? I mean, that would
Because
be
I want,
awesome.
because my ideal is to spook somebody, and that's what I really want it
Mhm.
for. I want somebody,
Yep.
I want that to spook somebody so bad that they actually speak up and say, "Hey, this is what I heard about this case," and I think it's
Right.
gonna take something like that. I don't think a reward is gonna do it. I mean, where it could, I think a reward and probably a billboard, or go hand in hand. So, but the billboard
Yeah.
I'll take first. Now she has one. I believe they had it in Wilmington, and they had one in Newcastle, but no, we need one in Elkton where
Right.
people
'Cause
can see her face and be like,
mhm.
"Hey, I know about this story." Because I
Eh,
guarantee, if you go back to my old Facebook posts about Risha, you'll
uh-huh.
see people saying that they know about this case or they heard what happened.
But nobody says a word.
Nobody says a word. Nope.
And there's
And
no
I think that
reward or anything for her if found, like no reward money.
no, it's been never been a reward. It's never
Oh,
really been anything. And another thing too, I guess I should tell everybody this too. Now, the police put the date January 21st as Risha gone missing. Okay, Risha
okay.
went missing at least 2 weeks before January 21st. It just wasn't recorded because when she didn't come home, her sister went to the police. I believe that Sunday because she left on a Friday. She went that Sunday. The police told her that if she doesn't come home by the week, then come back. That's when they started looking for her and they
Oh,
started
good.
investigating and stuff like that. So it was a good week or two
That is
before.
so sad. The first
But
48 hours is the major time where things need
yes,
done fast. So it's almost
yes,
like somebody knew to
and
wait.
right, and they don't. And a lot of times in the articles they don't say that, but that's what happened. Like I tell you again, going back to the murder at the hotel.
Oh
which
my
she
goodness.
freaking sometimes too. They went to the hotel. There's no murder, but
Oh my
that's the
goodness.
same night that she goes missing.
Wow, really?
Yes, the same night she goes missing.
Well, I don't believe in coincidence, so
Neither do
that
I.
that is so sad. And it makes you wonder, I mean, we have Risha and we have all these other cases, but I wonder how many are out there that we don't even know about.
I have a I don't want to say it alive, but cause I can't even think of it. But I have a list. It's about hmm, a good 500 people of color whose cases
Oh,
that you don't hear about,
see,
and you're
we gotta
gonna
work on
you
that, Klein. We got a lot of
yeah
Wednesdays, don't we?
we do
Yeah,
yeah we do
good,
and we definitely do. But
good, good.
we're working on it, and these cases are going to come to light because we're going to bring them to the light.
Right, right.
We're going to
Definitely.
bring them.
And even it only takes one person, just one person to be like, "Hey, I know something. You know what? Maybe I'm just gonna call and put this anonymous tip in because it could be as easy as that."
And I think people need to put themselves in the family shoes because a lot of times, I'll tell you what people do because I've seen people get murdered and people won't say a word. But as soon as their loved one get murdered, they're crying justice. Oh, we know somebody's seen something.
I hear
You
you.
gotta,
Yep,
you have to
yep.
put yourself in people's shoes. Think of if that's your family member missing you, and they're waiting on answers, and you're sitting here to the key with answers. Like in some of these cases where people finally talk, some people say they were scared. No, I think what it was, it took them to get mad at somebody because emotions run high.
Oh yeah.
When you breaking up and stuff like that, and you feel, and if a man or a woman feels scorned, oh, they're gonna tell everything.
Oh yeah.
And that
Yep.
happens a lot of times. I don't think it was fair in some cases. I just think that they feel as though they got screwed over, so they're going to screw that person over. But
Oh
for the
yeah.
ones that were, and then there also were some that were genuinely scared. So it's like a 50-50 with that. Some were scared, and some just didn't want to talk until they were away from that person. And we're
Right.
seeing,
Well,
but
maybe they
now,
could
you
be
know,
scared. They could be scared to say anything as long as they're with that person because if they think that person may have anything to do with it, then you keep your mouth shut. You don't want to be next. You know what I mean? As cruel as that sounds, it makes sense. I
it
mean,
does.
scary.
It does because you got to think about something. They say, well, they just killed them, or they made them go missing. They may do it the
Yeah,
same way.
exactly. And then you're afraid, and some of them I think maybe even be afraid to leave because maybe they know too much. And I know that sounds like tinfoil hat stuff, but it's not. It's reality in these towns. I've seen it.
Yeah,
It's
it definitely is. So,
mhm,
a lot of scared to leave. Like when
right.
some go to jail for years, you hear stuff come out.
Yeah, yeah. And it's odd how, a reward this big reward money comes out and then tips start coming in or a billboard gets put up and or someone else like dies that's near that case and then all of a sudden everyone wants to speak. Well, that's kind of like, oh, okay, that's obvious,
Well, you
stuff like
know,
that.
and a lot of times the reward doesn't mean anything either because
No.
Ariana Fitz has been missing for what? It's got to be almost 11 years, and her reward money is 250,000, I believe. Let me
Wow, and
look again.
nobody
I'm
has
gonna make
spoken?
sure. Huh?
Hmm. And
Yeah,
for
she was.
nobody to speak up with that kind of reward, that's woo.
That's because um the circumstances of the case. That'll be another case that we'll delve into down the line. I don't want to speak too much on
Yeah,
Risha's
yeah,
part to
and
take away, but
something else too, Klein, is we also need to look into who is offering the reward money, and I hate to say this, but a lot of times people will try to be the hero and say, "Oh, I'm gonna donate $100,000 to this," but they may be involved and they know they're not gonna have to spend that money. I know that sounds bad, but I've also seen that.
no, that's actually a good point that you brought up. I never thought about that, and that's a scary thing right there because in some cases that's true. Some people might put up a reward and they may know, and that reward sits there.
Yes, I've seen that. I've seen that happen, and, it's really I remember the first time I was like, "What?" But then I thought, "Oh, well, that's why they offered so much money because they knew, nothing's gonna be found, so why not?" So it's suspicious and it's deceiving, but I just look at everyone, with a little side eye in the because it's been too long. This is too long. Are
It,
there
it,
any
it just
family members helping you, like backing you up at all?
not Marisha. Like I said, I've reached out. I've seen several of her sisters. I've inboxed her sister before. I think we talked briefly before. Um, my platform wasn't really big at the time, and I've reached out over the years. I've reached out to her daughter. We spoke briefly, but then started to be a little drama online, and I had to block some people because I don't do that. Like
Yeah, I
we,
don't either. It makes me sick.
yeah,
I won't have it.
yeah.
It's pointless.
So
I'm focused on the missing, not on everybody else's problems, and they like to bring them
and
up, don't they?
I had some distractions too, where we had people, and I had to learn to myself to ignore them and don't bring it to the community because it's not about them. It's about the families.
You're exactly right. And it is, and everyone wants to point fingers, and that doesn't help because these families go through enough that they don't need accused and pointed fingers and their whole past to come about. Because none of
Right.
us sitting here right now is innocent of everything in life. We're all sinners and we've all made mistakes. Every
I,
one
kn-
of us.
I know I know I'm not innocent.
Yeah, see, and everyone should feel that way because this beautiful lady on the screen right now deserved just as much justice as you and I. Every one of us, no matter what.
Yes, I agree.
It's very sad. It is, and people are just forgotten as if they didn't exist, and that's heartbreaking. I just can't. That's what keeps like the fire lit for me is if we do this, if we come out here and we let all the bad get to us and we stop, how does that help? It doesn't.
It doesn't.
It
You're
doesn't.
right. It doesn't. Yeah.
Okay, let's see what chat thinks. Let's see what we got in chat. I
Okay.
know Cash is probably yep there. Cash is chatting. Cash keeps the chat going for sure. Um, let's see. I know Duchess came in to support us. Thank you, Duchess. I'm honored to have you here to support us. Sunday Doodles. Yep, there's Cash. He's gonna offer $1 to anybody that can catch Kimber. Good luck. She's a wild one.
I can catch
Oh.
Kimber.
Yeah, Klein's like, give me the dollar, I'll find her.
Yeah, I'll find her. I'll find her. I sure will.
Paula, thank you for joining us, Paula.
Hey, Paula, how you doing?
No,
Cash,
Cash says, light the
Arctic.
fire under Kimber. Oh, mm-mm. Oh, there's Kimber. Don't light a fire under Kimber. Yeah, don't.
Hey,
Please don't, Cash. Mom, it's okay. I know the storms have you worried. Mom's multitasking, but she's listening.
hey, Kimber. Hey, I need my dollar. There she is.
Yep, there she is. You owe Klein $1, Cash. Don't now listen. He'll take that in cash. He wants the money, not a check. Now he wants paid.
Exactly. And I had PayPal, I had Cash, I got Apple Pay.
Oh, look at him. He's like, hey, let me give you my list.
For Quay, is this for Q?
Yeah, Far
For
Q, she's amazing. Oh, she's awesome.
okay.
Yeah, Far Q is awesome. So, can you tell me anything like fun stuff she liked? Because I always try to humanize the person. Because we see a flyer, we see faces, but I want people to see her. I want them to get to know her personality. Like
I
anything
think
she likes.
honestly, there has to really now from her friend.
Hmm.
She said Risha was best friends, and she has the name tattooed. She has the name tattooed. One of her best friends on her. Um,
Oh, now
she said
that's
she was
that's good.
outgoing. She said she was outgoing. One thing that she did, she loved her children, and she would never not leave her children.
Oh, of course, of course. You have
Um,
Bertha Smith in your chat that says, "Preach it, cuz." So you got your own cheerleaders, Klein.
oh hey Miss Bertha, that's actually somebody that I used to work with.
Oh, well, welcome, Bertha. Welcome.
Yeah.
So she
But
was
yeah,
outgoing.
like
She has a beautiful smile. So she was probably like, the voice probably loved her because look at that face. She's beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
I'm gonna try to reach back out to her sister or her family, and see if we
Yeah,
can get them to do an in depth analysis. Our analysis
yeah.
is good, but for this to be like the case that drives me, I think I need to really get the family on here and you know
Sure. Sure. In this
get
video climb that I made, I kept that unlisted and private, so you can use that for absolutely anything. I'm just gonna keep it on there because it's too big to send to you or I just give it to you, but I'll just
okay.
leave it on there, so anytime you wanna use that video, it's yours. I'm not gonna it because you have that link. It's just use it anytime you want to. I'm not gonna, like, air it to where it's a video or anything. I'll keep that so you can have that. So when you hit the big, and I know you will, you're already doing amazing, then you can use this video to go back to the one that lit your fire, and I'm
Hey,
so
I was just going
proud
to
of
tell
you
you.
for doing that.
I was just going to tell you stop that.
Oh,
Yeah, because I had somebody tell me the other day. They like, I love what you're doing. You're like a celebrity. No, and the first thing I had to correct them, tell them no. The celebrities are the people that are missing. Those are the ones.
Well, I don't think you're gonna be a celebrity, but I think
Yeah,
you will
no,
have
no, no.
enough
That's what
followers
I said.
that you're
No,
gonna make the change. I think
yeah,
you will
I'll
be
never
the
be.
one to
No,
make
no, no, no. Basically, what I'm saying is that when I told them that the celebrities are the people that are missing. Those are the main people. I'm just the
Oh.
machine behind it. Those are celebrities. Those are the
See, I
focus.
love that. I love that. That tells me your heart is in this, and I
Yeah, I'm
respect
not
that
like I'm
so much.
always going to be behind the scene. The people that are missing, the missing people of color, those people are always
Yep,
going to be in front. They're going to be the most important. They're a part of my lives, and honestly, they're
yeah,
going to be a part of my life for the rest of my life because
yep.
I'm in this. Like you always wonder what's your purpose. What are you meant to do in life, and this is my niche. Ever since I've been younger, I always wanted to genuinely help people, and I've been doing that. And I'm going to continue doing that. This will be one day. This will be my full time job. One day
No,
doing
so
this.
much respect, Klein. So much respect. Because I know I'm sure you've got some help from several families. I mean, you have to. I have,
Oh yeah,
but
yeah. I sure
you just
have. They
continue.
listen.
Hmm.
Listen. Yeah, there's some families that just yeah. We ain't gonna name them. We just gonna keep it. We gonna keep it regular.
Right, right, right. We don't
no,
tell names. No kissing
yeah,
and
we ain't gonna throw
telling,
the,
but I know.
and we
I
ain't gonna throw
feel
no
you.
shade. We ain't gonna throw no shade because like, again, it's about the
Right.
missing. But
Yes. Right.
um, I think a lot of times I don't think it's intentional. It's emotions
Could be. Could be.
because one family and somebody messed it up. I don't know who it was. They told her that they were going to do a story on her missing loved one, and they didn't do it. So she had no faith. So when I came calling, it took me several messages in order for her to call me back and to try to profile her daughter. And she was just like not having it. She said her sons don't really like to talk about it, but her daughter didn't even want to talk about it. So she navigated to the niece, and we never got anywhere. I've asked her does she want to do the podcast. She's like, yeah. Then the time comes, it's like no. So I think the
Maybe the
family just
pain. There's a lot of
yeah,
grief.
it is, it is, it is. It's
Yeah.
because she's been missing for almost 20, I think 3 decades, I believe. But it's got to be
Yeah.
about 30 years.
Yeah, so they may not be able to relive that because some of us, you have to know when to mentally just step back. So that could be it. We can't really blame them if that's pain they put behind them. It's hard, we can't pressure them.
Yeah, it definitely is because Sierra's daughter, Sierra Thomas, another case missing for 21 years, 22 years now.
Yeah.
It was hard for her to open it up. I got her to open it up. I got her to come on and come on to a podcast that we did, and before her sister and her sister and her daughter came on, it's hard for her sister to actually talk about it
Mhm.
now because it's been so long.
Oh
But
yeah.
she appreciates everything that I have done for the family. She messages me when I put a new video about Sierra or we do a live. She says, I appreciate you because outside of you, nobody had done anything like this for our family.
Oh,
And I appreciate that because, like I said,
yeah.
and me and Sierra's daughter, we keep in contact. A lot of these families, I keep in contact. Mother's Day, I text Christina's mom, tell her happy Mother's Day. They be on my
Oh.
mind, so I just
Yeah,
act that
because
way.
they're family. It's like that's kind of like Sarah for Marissa Carmichael, and then we have Amy Felton or Amy Fountain Baumgardner. I mean, I check on them every day because you just don't know, and you just wanna let them know they're loved for that day. "Hey, I'm thinking about you," and those little kind words could actually make someone's day.
Emma Ballgummer, where's she missing from?
Amy Fountain Baumgartner, she's missing from Dow, Illinois.
Okay, I think I heard about that.
Yeah.
That's not the one with the boyfriend, right?
Yep, she did have a boyfriend. She's got a tattoo on her right side of her face. She just got yeah, that's her. I'll send you some information.
Yeah, I paid attention because
Yep,
Missing Lost in Traffic. That's another good group. She covers a
yep.
lot too. She's been covering that. Is it Janaya Harris? I think it's either Janaya Michael or the Janaya Harris story.
Yeah.
She's been covering, and she's been covering that a lot. That's another strange case of a 15-year-old missing,
No, it's so sad. These
and she's black too. It's just I think a lot of times what people don't understand is they got to stop bringing drama to social media
right, but
when
Klein,
stuff is going.
I agree with you because it, like I said, drama makes me physically ill. But at the same time, some of these parents know that if they can bring drama, that keeps their child's face out there, and that's the sad, evil world we're living in.
Exactly, you got to keep step with drama because
Sad.
um, people see these things and then they start speculating. You already
Oh
got
yeah.
people in the comment. Like when you put up certain missing person cases, there's always somebody judging in the comments. There's always
All
somebody talking
pointing
bad.
fingers. Always blaming the victim, blaming the parents, blame I don't point fingers anywhere. I'll go off of what law enforcement says. Even if I disagree with what they have to say, it's their job to do it. I'm not hurting anybody and pointing fingers at their darkest time. I'm not doing it. I want
But
to help them. I don't wanna hurt.
I will say this though, in some of these cases, it's clear cut. It's clear cut who was involved and who did what.
Yeah,
And
most of the time, and usually the simplest answer is the truth, but
yes, and in Risha's case, I don't think it was anybody close to her. I just think that somebody did something to her that night.
very well. I
I
mean,
don't, you know,
and the
I don't
car
want to
not
say
found for that long, Klein, that's shady considering she was missing and they knew she was in that area. That car should have been
yes.
found way longer.
Had a proper search and all that been done, yes, this case could have probably been processed.
Well, look back
And
to Ashton Degree, another good example. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
well,
they should agree, yeah.
yep. Oh, it's
No,
terrible. It's so sad. So, so
and now
sad.
you're saying what 2 decades down there that stuff coming out when
Right, and
stuff should
now there's coverage because now it's big, but before, where were they at? Emily Pike. Hardly anybody covered that until the outcome, and then everyone covered it. That's not fair. Let's honor these children. Let's not exploit them.
I'm
That's
not even gonna lie to you. I was one of the ones that didn't cover that, but it wasn't that I didn't want to. I just had an eerie feeling about that from the beginning. I don't know
right, right,
why.
right. And a lot of people don't, but I mean, you're also not covering the end of it because it's big. That's kind of my
Yeah, and
point.
then I see a lot of times I see everybody jump on something, and it's like,
Yeah,
all right,
and then
okay,
they just take one case and they beat it, like, beat the horse. It's like, "Come on, how many times are you gonna beat a dead horse here? There's no more
yes,
information. There's nothing left here. Let's focus on someone that has no coverage. Let's help the forgotten because they matter just the same, really."
yes, because they had families, they had kids that'll never grow up with parents or a loved one. It's just
Yeah,
like you said, there's so many cases, and
right. It's sad. It is. It's just it's more than just sad. It's crazy to think in the year 2025 that we're still seeing this. This is crazy. To me, it's unheard of.
yes, decades later, we're still
We're still stuck. We're still stuck
still
way
stuff.
back. I mean, come on. When are we going to move forward here? Because we all know you can't change your past. You're trying to change your future, but how can you do that when the past is all that's there?
Oh, we're gonna move forward this year.
Darn right we are.
There's no more us lagging behind. We're moving forward this year, and we're gonna be the people that make the change.
Yep.
After
Yep.
a
And it does
while,
take a village. It does.
after a while, everybody else is gonna have to fall in line too.
Yep. Yeah, because eventually all of their drama stuff is gonna end. That case is gonna end. What are they gonna do? You know?
Exactly.
Well, they'll just go find something else to stir up and ruin, but we won't, and we'll stay focused. And we can try. We may not make the difference, but we can at least say, "Hey, we're trying to make the difference."
I
That's
think
got to count.
I think just talking to the families and discussing their cases and bringing them on lives, that says a lot because you got to think about something. For years, for decades, people didn't want to hear their story. So
Oh,
now that the focus with the social media, with the Facebook pages, now that there people are actually profiling, I get so many people that just thank me for just posting because they didn't have a
right,
voice before.
right,
They didn't have a voice for the case. Nobody would listen. Nobody would, oh, she ran away. But now they can actually sit and tell the world what happened
right.
and why there was no coverage, which people can
Exactly.
kind of see why. But that fascinates the family when people actually help them out when they didn't have
Oh
any
yeah,
help before at all.
yeah. Even when I will message one of the moms and say, I was just letting you know I'm thinking about you today. Oh, thank you so much. I was having a bad day, but thank you so much. Will you pray with me? Absolutely, absolutely, I will.
Yes.
We can't get cold because the world is evil. I refuse. I'm not going to be evil because the world is evil. I don't want to fit in that. I just don't. I'm not going to.
You know what? I'm honestly tell you something. And I hate to say this. I
Uh
think
oh.
the world copied Chicago's mentality a couple of years back, and the reason why I say that is because like if any
Are you there?
yeah, hold
Oh, okay. Okay.
on.
I just thought it was my internet storming.
No, you're good. I'm telling my yeah, you're good. I don't know if anybody was familiar with Chicago's gang culture, but it was really ruthless and a lot of stuff that was going on. People just started mimicking. Like they would always like when people get killed, they would diss the dead. You know what I mean? Talk down on the dead.
Oh god.
And
Oh,
now
mm.
I see that a lot. I mean, I see it more than ever now when people die. People are online cracking jokes about somebody dying or
Oh, that yeah, I see that too. I
yes,
can't. I
that
can't look at it.
that
I can't
yes,
look at
and
it.
it seems like it seems like that's the norm now. You have to
Mm.
see. Matter of fact, offline, we'll talk about it. And I'll tell you, and
Okay.
you'll see
Okay.
the meaning of what I'm saying. But
Okay.
it just goes back to the world, like you said, the world. You
Yeah.
refuse to be evil.
Yeah. Yep. And it's not going to get better. I
It's
mean, the
not.
evil's there. The evil's going to stay. And we just have to try to fight it each day and try to be better today than we were yesterday.
Yes, yes. That's the goal. That's the
Yeah,
goal.
definitely. That's what I tell myself. Nobody's perfect. I'm going to be better today than I was yesterday. That's
Oh
it.
yeah, and yes, we're gonna be bigger and better. We may get knocked down one day, but you guarantee the next day we're up and running.
Yep. Dust off and try again for sure. We have
That's
to
just
because if we give
literally
up,
this.
then nothing gets done.
Yes, and I gotta commend Clecendra's mother for one after 31 years, still having hope that her daughter will come through the door.
Yes. That right there, as heartbreaking as it is, you just want to reach out and hug her. You just want to grab her and
Yes,
hug her.
yes. I plan I plan on soon, like in the near future, if I'm able to actually meet some of these families in person.
Right. You have someone in your chat. Mecca Iman says, "Do you have a YouTube?" Yes. I have your link, but it's on my
Yes,
side.
it's
I don't.
called Missing Black People, the Forgotten. If you didn't hear that, it's Missing Black People, the Forgotten.
They're on
Right
your
now,
Facebook side.
yeah, we just did the Cassandra Denise Hall story, missing
Mhm.
31 years from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. We just did that story, but it should be in the chat like Doodle said. I think you put it in there, right, Doodles? You said.
Yeah, I did. I did. I put
Okay.
it, but I put that over on my side, so I don't know how I can. Oh, I don't know if I can get over on
Hold on,
yours.
let me. You know what? I actually can hold on. I actually can navigate while we're doing this. I can go get my channel.
Okay.
Yeah, because I can close my thing out and still talk to you. So.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
All right.
okay. Okay. All right, we are here. Okay, let's go here. Okay. Fine. Okay. I got to thank everybody too, because this has been a lot of people subscribing to the channel lately. Um, I'm like happy that people are are seeing my vision and seeing like what I'm truly here for.
I'm so glad because I think you have a wonderful heart. I really do.
Let me
And
see.
that's what it
Okay.
takes. That heart is it's gonna get it done.
Yeah, every time. I think every time. I think and you can kind of tell who's in it for what.
You
You
can.
can
You can.
you can see that. So
Sure you can.
um
It takes
I
sometimes it takes a minute for some people because you get close to the creator, you get close to their chat, but at some point, your integrity steps in and your honor and you're like, "Oh, no, maybe this isn't for me." And then you just kind of do your own thing and do what's right. Because
I've
doing
actually
what's right is never easy, but it's worth
right. I actually been honestly, like I told you, I've actually been doing both pages, running them by myself for ten
Oh my
years,
goodness.
and
Wow. And work a full-time job.
now I work now. You probably hear my videos. Ashley Summers, she
Uh-huh.
I can't. I'm sorry, she gonna kill me. I can't think of her channel right offhand.
Mhm.
Uh,
We have so
oh,
many cases to
I'm sorry,
solve.
Ash Mysteries. Ash Mysteries. She's been working with me a lot for the past year. She does a lot of the voiceover on the videos, and she posts stuff on missing and unsolved.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
Arctic
So.
says if Clashandra's mom would like to come on his channel with the team to talk about her daughter's case, we would love
Oh
to
yeah,
have her.
yes. Yeah. She would. She told me different platforms to reach out to her. And matter of fact, Arctic, I'll send her a message after we get off this live and tell her to expect a message from you. Yeah, because we were just talking about that in the last live. She said she would like to go on different channels, which I think she
Yeah.
should because,
Yes,
um,
everyone she can get to that's decent though.
yeah,
Don't
because
let them.
everybody has a broader audience. And right now, this stream is being streamed from Facebook and YouTube.
Right, right. That's
So
great. I love
more
that.
the more people to see the lives.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And I'm very excited for the conversation that we're going to have in the future on different missing persons cases. We're going to bring these cases to the front where they should be.
Yeah, bring them to light because these people we're no better than any one of these people that we're covering. That could be us. And I wish people could get that in their head. It doesn't matter the color, none of it. Their
Okay,
social
Arctic.
status, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't
Right.
matter.
I totally agree.
All right. Well, did everyone get to see the video about Kline and how cuz Risha is the one that got him started that kind of stole his heart with this. So if any of you didn't see the video, I will play it again for you if you want to. But it kind of explains how people of color do not get the attention they need and why. And not that we understand it, but if we keep continuing this fight, I honestly think eventually there has to be a change. If not, we're going to keep giving them hell until they do. I mean,
Oh, it's
we
going to
have
be changed. You know why? We're going to make it. We're going to make it. Make sure it's a change. If that
yes,
makes sense.
yes,
We're going to make
yes,
sure there's a change.
yep, yep. There has to be a change. We can't do this forever. Everyone deserves the same amount, whether the same no matter what, you should be able to have an investigation just like everyone else. Whether you're
Hey,
rich, poor, a criminal, not a criminal, it doesn't matter.
right. Hey, Mecca. Yes, I'll check out your channel. I could also get her mother to interview on your channel too. Because like I said, the more social media sites she gets on, like
Sure.
any of these other
Mhm.
cases, the more the merrier. Because
Yes. definitely. You can bring her up on one of our Wednesdays too. I mean, I'm not a big crowd, but I'm still a little bit different crowd than what she's seen.
Oh
You
yeah,
never know.
yeah. Listen. Of course. Like all I have to do is send her a message. She's there. See, one thing about her is she refused. She refuses to be out of the spotlight. And again, utmost respect for her. 31 years, this woman still gets up. And she told me, a person in my last live asked me to ask her about, her how has she had able to hold up, and she said her faith and her family is what's kept her going all these years.
Oh,
I think
God
that's
bless
the
her.
big part too. I
Oh,
think a lot of times too, families. I know sometimes they get they feel defeated by certain things, but keep calling them law enforcement. Keep the case out there. If you got to post it on your socials, post it out there. Contact different Facebook groups to to get the story out there, and you're going to help your cause because you see that these days people have to start investigation themselves. They have to go look for people else. They have to go look for their loved ones themselves. We
can you
cannot
imagine that
we
and what they
cannot
could find? Oh
we
gosh,
cannot count on the police anymore to do these jobs themselves because sometimes they can't do it at all, or sometimes they won't do it at all. There's been cases where the police didn't even touch the case and the family went out and solved it themselves.
right.
Okay?
And when did that
Yes.
start being okay? Well, but
It was never okay. I
right,
have,
right.
I know a mother that I'm gonna get with soon. She solved her son's murder in 24 hours, and it all unfolded on social media.
Wow.
Yes, the police were not doing what they supposed to be doing. He's a young black kid. He was a good kid, and then he got killed. And she sprung into action, and she said, "No, my son's going to be hurt." Yes.
Oh,
So it's
and see,
yes.
that also lights a fire. It's like
Thank you.
it
Yeah,
lights a fire under us because we're thinking, okay, these people matter, so we're going to show them that they matter. If they don't think so, we're going to show
we sure are. Mecca, do you have a YouTube channel? I'll subscribe to your TikTok, and if you have a YouTube channel,
them.
you can put it in the comments. And also too, I'm open for collaborations too on the mission.
Yes.
I'm also open to collaborate with anybody. Anybody ever want to collaborate on something? I'll definitely, definitely will do it. As you can see, I love talking.
But your heart's in this, and
Right.
there's a difference. Like you can speak to someone and know if their heart's into this or if they're just in here just because.
And you know what? That's a key point. I'm glad that you can see that I have a good heart because
Yeah, I
that's
can.
a yes. I'm glad.
I can just because you worked so hard and you're so dedicated, and people that work that hard and are dedicated to the missing have to
Right.
love it because it's not fun. It's not like we like to share missing people for fun, but when you're
Yes.
that dedicated, it shows your heart,
Yes.
really.
Oh yeah, Arctic. Yes. My if you remember my first collabo with you and Jasmine, that was a nice collabo. So yes, we definitely have to get something to, some more some more collaborations in because we I think we did some good work together.
Well,
Thanks,
all
Kimber.
right.
Thank you, Kimber,
This
so much. Appreciate that.
Yeah, Kimber's awesome. She is. She's awesome.
Hey,
Well,
I'm still waiting on
Klein,
my dollar.
yeah, yeah. Cash, you still owe him $1. We expect that before this is over with. I'm like, he got bills to pay too. Okay, no, but thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so glad we could bring light to her because Risha Lewis, she deserves just as much attention as absolutely everyone else.
You see
Everyone.
that smile right there? Look at that smile.
Yeah, I know. And that easygoing face, she's so pretty. She looked like she'd be laid back, easy to get along with.
And when she went missing, she left behind a 2-year old and a 10-year old.
Oh, God. See? Mm.
That's a lifetime without a mom.
Yeah, right. That's terrible. Terrible, terrible. Is there anyone that didn't see the video for Klein that needs me to play it, or has everybody saw it? But Klein, I want you to take that video for sure. Use it anytime you want. I won't use it. It'll just be there because you have that link. If you lose the link, then I can just send it to you again. I just didn't know. I didn't know how to send it to you any other way.
Oh, Mecca. Okay, wow. Okay, I'm looking at Mecca. Mecca has 164K followers on
Awesome, Mecca.
TikTok.
Congratulations.
Yes, that's big.
Yes, that is. Y'all need to get together and do something for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, we'll definitely get together.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Mecca, I will. I will. Okay. She wants me to play that again. So I'm going to play that Klein and I'll remove
Okay.
us just so she can see it full screen. Oh, well, I might if I still have that there. Let me pull that up again. I'm sorry, guys. Well, I might be able to here. I'm sorry. Mm, well, I just had that too. Well, I am sorry, Mecca. I had that right there, but because it was a private link, I bet it took that down. But if you will rewind a little bit, it's definitely right there. The other one I have is whenever I mess up a live, I do like a train wreck thing. So I thought that one was it, but that's not it. But I do apologize. But if you will rewind a little bit in the very beginning, it explains it. And then I will open that up, Klein, but I'll do it like unlisted so that you can just use it when you want to. Does anyone have any questions for Klein or I? Oh, there he is. He dropped down. I didn't even know you fell out of the window. I'm talking to you and you can't answer me. Cash says this is rubbish, boo. Well, Cash, you still owe him $1, whether you like it or not.
Hmm. And every day I'll get my dollars. It's It's $2.
That's right. See, Cash. He's charging interest. All
Yeah.
right, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end this. If you will, I'm going to put that flyer for Risha on my community page right now. If you will screenshot that, it's also on my Facebook page. And please share, if you will. Klein, do you want to say any lasting words to the chat?
Yes. I won't stop at nothing until I find out what happened to Risha and bring her home. If it takes me a lifetime to find her, I won't stop looking. And I just encourage everybody to just keep sharing her flyer and sharing her story. Somebody's eventually going to say something.
Right, right. Someone's going to get scared at some point. Somebody's going to get too close. Hopefully, someone will do the right thing and just say it. Do it anonymous. You don't have to be known. Just do it anonymous.
Right. You
But
sure
for
don't.
me, guys, life is short. You can't change your story, but you can change the ending. Make it a good one. I'm not saying go crazy and make this big old blast ending, but at least make your life story exciting at the end and make yourself happy. You're worth it. I hope each and every one of you have a great day. And please, please share a flyer. It just takes a second. Thank you
Yeah.
again, Caroline, for joining me. It's been an honor. And I can't wait to do this again next Wednesday.
Yep. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good night. God bless you. And we'll see you in the next live.
Bye bye.
Does anyone understand? Does anyone lend a hand? When the silence starts to bite, will you join me in this fight? Can you see them in your dreams? Can you hear their desperate screams? A heartbeat lost in the night. Oh, will you help me be their voice? In the darkness, let's rejoice, 'cause together we can shine a light. We'll raise our hands, we'll raise our hearts. Let's make a stand, let's tear apart the chains that bind.